All right, crew, and welcome back to another episode of the Dr. Greg Show. I am so excited to have an amazing guest on today. Here's the reality. Women in their 30s through 50s are like, what's going on? Like, things are happening to me that I don't know. It's fatigue, brain fog, hormones. They've been to their doctors. Their labs are normal. In today's conversation, Tatch and I are going to dive into what is probably really going on. So Tatch is the founder of the Reverse Me method and works extensively with women navigating stress, trauma, and nervous system dysregulation. So, Tatch, welcome to the podcast, my dear.
Thank you very much for having me, Dr. Greg.
Yeah, I love this. Well, for our listeners, kind of give them an idea of who you are and how you got here.
I'm 53, and my background is I'm a certified personal trainer and sports nutritionist. But I've always worked in corporate world all my life. Got my MBA, had kids. The standard stuff.
Yeah.
And everything was going well until I hit around 48 when my hormones went haywire. And I became like everyone else. I started gaining weight out of nowhere. I was just very low on energy. I think that was one of the big things for me. Low, right. Very, very low in energy. And I was having hot flashes. And all of this took me a long time to figure out the root cause of all of these symptoms.
Okay.
And hence the birth of the Reverse Me method last year, actually.
I love that. So you were tested in fire. You were like your own guinea pig and you said, hey, this is not okay. I don't like this. And then you went on a discovery phase and then you realized I am not alone. There are a lot of women that are inside of this.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, so we take women, 35 to 55, perimenopause, flirting with menopause. What are the most common struggles? I mean, you talked about fatigue, and no question about it. The number one symptom I see clinically is fatigue. What are the most common struggles that you're seeing when you speak with these women?
I would say three things that I see often is the exhaustion, like low in energy. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that I've seen. And I also experienced myself. And of course, the weight gain, because the Reverse Me method, it does also help you to get rid of the stubborn belly fat that a lot of us came out of nowhere. Right. And as well, I think a lot of them became moody, the mood just swang. Like what? Like you start talking to your friends and you start crying and you don't even understand why. So yeah, I would say those are the three most common symptoms that I've seen women who reach out to me, and they just literally don't understand what's going on. So they feel like they're in a different body,
They do, right? And of course, we can jump into physiology and go, well, in perimenopause, you have a drop of progesterone and a drop of testosterone. But the reality is like those hormones move every cycle and for every month. So what you're discovering is that there's these other things that have been hidden underneath that start to come to the surface. So I'm excited to hear because I'm a huge fan of nervous system regulation. I tell people if your nervous system is not in a good place, I don't care what vitamin you're taking. I don't care what your diet is. I don't care what your workout is. It's just not going to work. So how do you this is because it can be a touchy conversation, right? Because the average person's like, oh, give me the workout program, or hey, what's the supplement that you recommend? And you're like, actually, we got to back up a little bit. So how do you bridge that conversation of like, well, you got to go to your nervous system first. So how do you navigate that with your clients, Tatch?
Well, usually when someone joins the program, we do an extensive assessment based on their lifestyle, their work life, their family life, their home life, how their sleep is, how active they are, how they eat, everything. Because I tell all my clients that, in order to feel better, like we're not even, yes, I think everyone wants to lose weight at this stage of life because, of this crazy belly fat. But I think everyone wants to feel better in their skin. Because of all this craziness and these symptoms that they don't know how to control them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, from what I see, once we do the assessment, I can tell right away that their stress level is maxed out.
Mm.
You know, they're most of the women at this stage of life, they do everything for everyone. Like literally,
Right.
we're like a multitasker, and we used to be able to handle it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But now it it with the hormones changing, with the hormones shifting,
Yeah.
it we still trying to plow through, but the body is trying to tell us slow down, but we don't know how to slow down because that's not in our nature. So we keep on going and going, and then
Mm.
it just keeps getting worse. I am just like you, Dr. Greg. I so believe in the root cause. I don't believe in medicines because I believe that they fix the symptoms, but they don't fix the root cause necessarily.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I think so. I joke. So my wife and I have 5 beautiful babies. My wife raises them, which is way more work than I've ever done in my life. And I joke, I say, my wife could probably write a New York Times best-selling book titled How to Put Yourself in Last Place, right? Like,
yeah.
are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Hey, if there's any crumbs left over, I'll take them. Um, and that's a part of a lot of women's identity, right? I am the homemaker. I'm the professional. I'm the mama. I'm the spouse. I'm the basketball runner. I'm the meal prepper. Like, so now you're walking in saying, hey girl, you cannot continue at that clip and expect to get well. So they're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Right. And it's interesting. I treated a woman from Ghana, um, 2 or 3 years ago. And for years, I've used the word selfish. And it's got a very negative connotation, right? Like selfish means like you're prideful, you're all about yourself. And I was like, no. I actually think selfish means I know myself and I know what I need. And she actually said to me, Dr. Greg, wait. She said, in my native language, in my native tongue, selfish actually means self-love. And I was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh. So my question is, because I could picture many of my patients in front of you and they're like, okay, Tatch, yeah, this sounds great. But like, how the hell do I, like, where do I start? How do I create some bandwidth for me? Because
Mm.
like, I'm not going to quit my job. I'm not going to ship my kids off to boarding school. I'm not going to hire a nanny and a house cleaner, or maybe those are things that I need to do. So how do you allow that woman to, and I'll say this respectfully, see her self-worth and realize that you can't keep doing what you're doing and expect things to change? So maybe walk me through kind of that. How do those conversations go? Because they're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you got all these great ideas, but like, what does this look like?
I'm going to be honest, Dr. Greg, it's very hard
Yeah.
because every woman who joined my program, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great. I'm ready. I'm committed. And there will be some that cannot commit because
Yeah.
they go back to that. I've got meetings. I got to pick up my kids. I got to plan this. I got to do that. And a lot of us still have a very hard time to prioritize ourselves just because it's in our DNA. So there's no magic formula. I do my best.
Well,
But
you're
yeah,
an
a
advocate,
lot
right?
of
Like,
them,
you're going to fight for them a little bit. But now maybe let's go here. Let's go to how trauma or previous experiences or how that person has been conditioned. So how do you allow a woman with grace and curiosity to kind of put her head on a swivel and go, oh, that's tied to when I was 7. Oh, that's tied to these old things. So walk me through, because I'm not going to say that you're treading on thin ice, but you're going to the heart of it inside of some of those conversations. So walk me through the process of how you allow a woman, and I've not gone through your program, obviously. I'm a 50-year-old guy. But what does it look like for a woman to, in a safe place, look at her previous experiences and hold space for those things and go, oh, yeah, that's real. Maybe go to that trauma. Because I think there's a lot of misconception around trauma. I think there's this like, what is trauma? How does trauma impact us? So maybe speak to that for a little bit. I'm curious.
I don't really focus on that.
Okay.
So usually when we look at three things when people come into my program.
Okay.
Yeah, we look at their activities, we look at their nutrition, and we look at their lifestyle.
Oh,
I don't
perfect.
really, yeah, I don't really dig into their trauma or their previous experience. It's more about making sure that each person gives themselves space for them
Mm-hmm.
every single day.
Totally.
Does that make sense? Meaning
100%.
it could be sitting in a corner and do a breathing technique for a few minutes.
Yeah, right.
Or you know what I mean? Like I think that that's what a lot of women are missing.
Mm-hmm.
They think that scrolling through Instagram, for example, is relaxing. I mean, I do it, right? We all do it. But
Right.
with all the news and all the things that you get from external environments, the news and everything, it's just not healthy, and that just adds more stress to the body.
Yeah, for sure.
So I always encourage everyone to practice some kind of stress relief activities, whatever their favorite is. Like the other day, one of my clients said she doesn't want to do meditation, but for her, doing puzzle, that's her stress relief. I said, well, girl, do that every day. You know,
Right.
whatever works for you, do that. You know, some people prefer to do journaling, some people prefer to talk to their girlfriends. Whatever it is, they just need to allow some space each day so that they can
Mm.
unwind, not just physically but mentally every day.
And again, that goes back to that self-love, selfish thing. Like what do I have in my toolbox that can make me feel like I'm not, gas pedal, all gas, no brake, and how can I unwind and how can I spend a little bit of time for myself? So and it's funny, right? Because puzzles and journaling and meditation, they don't cost anything. But it's
Exactly.
the right. And so many people are looking for like, well, what pill should I take? Should I be taking some adaptogens or ashwagandha? And I'm like, no, you should do some breath work and you should find times to unwind a little bit and do that.
Mm.
So what would you say are some of the symptoms that women experience when their nervous system has been in survival for too long? What would that feel like inside of their body? What would they be experiencing?
They would be inflamed, man. They're so puffy, and then and that's I see that in so many women who come into the program. Once we start giving them a personalized plan based on the three core pillars I was telling you about: the movement, the nutrition, and then the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You could feel that the first thing they see is they feel lighter, they feel less puffy, they feel less
Mm-hmm.
inflamed,
Mm-hmm.
and and a lot of them are surprised because it's not like, because in the program we also incorporate strength training. So it's not
Mm.
like in this program we strength train every day, and not even 5 days. We do like 3 days. We start off with
Mm-hmm.
3 days. So it's very tiny and it's 20 minutes. So a lot of women at our age, well, at my age, we've been told to, do more, right? If you want to get back in shape or if you want to feel good again. But it's a different story these days. And it's
Yeah.
actually the opposite, actually. That's why it's called the reverse me method, because we need to tell women to stop pushing harder with everything,
Right. Right.
because otherwise it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And then what's going to happen in a few years' time? They're going to be have to rely on some medicine or some prescriptions for the rest of
Right.
their life. And that's just sad, because there are certain things that we can truly fix once they have the right plan.
That's so good.
And
I love that.
it doesn't mean any supplements. I mean, supplements are great, but like you said, Dr. Greg, But the foundation needs to be solid first before you start adding these different supplements, right?
Exactly. There's so much truth to the body being in a place. I had a woman a couple of months ago speaking of like the nervous system, and she said, "Dr. Greg, I feel like I'm a bird without a nest." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that lands. I can feel that. What you're saying is you're hyper vigilant. You're always on. There's no safe place to go and to be and to rest." So I love that. So again, the three pillars are movement, and then is it nutrition
Nutrition and lifestyle.
and lifestyle.
Yeah.
So lifestyle can be a pretty broad conversation. So what have you found? Let's dive into those three things. I think they're awesome. And when you say reverse me, is that kind of like taking you back to like the original? Like if I was I like old cars, like it's taking like a car and like taking it back to the original, like when it came off the conveyor belt in 1965. Kind of how'd you come up with the word reverse me? I'm intrigued.
Well, actually, the word me, it's actually an abbreviation for ME, metabolic effect. So
Oh.
this is all actually starting from my own experience, like I was telling you earlier,
Hmm.
where I also struggled myself when I was around 48. As a certified personal trainer and sports nutritionist, I never had to worry about my weights. Like
Right.
I would work out more than an hour a day on my own with my clients. Everyone was getting great results. And then all of a sudden at
Yep.
48, everything completely stopped.
Mm.
And that's why I came up with the name Reverse, because I wanted people to flip the scripts that they have in their head about how to stay healthy these days. That
Right.
it's not what we used to believe. Because in order to stay in shape at after 40 or after 35 or at
Hmm.
50 or at 55, it's not the same approach anymore. And it's not just, you got to work out so you can be thinner and then you have energy. It
Right.
doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
And you have to really fix what's stuck inside first before you start doing more things or
I
adding
love
more
it.
supplements or adding more. I don't know. People just like to add. I don't. They like to
Well,
push.
it's the world tells women eat less, work out more, which is very stressful for the body in many cases. And the world also says like you're, there's a magic cure somewhere, and of course there's 1,000 internet marketers that are claiming that they have the magic fix or the magic pill, and it just confuses people. Right. So
Mm.
it can be a noisy space. So if you're a woman listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so sick of ads coming past my face that tell me that, and simple things like they tell me that I'm not good enough. They tell me that in order to get to who I want to be, I have to do all of these things. Right. We come from a big weightlifting family. We just had the state Olympic lifting meet this weekend, and 4 of our 5 kids competed. So we're
Wow.
weightlifters in our house, and I love that. So when someone is a part of your program, is it like, do they have to have a gym membership? Do they have to have a private chef? Like, what's the doingness? Like, what's the lift for someone to have success inside of your program?
No, all of my workout programs within the coaching program is home workouts. Just a yoga mat and a pair of dumbbells to start off with.
Cool.
And because I think this program was designed specifically for someone just like me, women over 40,
Hmm.
who holds everything together, probably like
Hmm.
your wife, right?
Right.
And they are so limited on time.
Yeah.
They are so low on energy. And yet they still don't know what to do. And then and every day they still put everything else before them.
Yeah.
That's the women, and I get it.
That's fun.
So, I was there like them. So
Yeah. I love that. So, um, I'm always intrigued with programs because do you do your programs with groups? Are they one-on-one? Kind of what would someone experience if they jump into your program? Like, what are they getting themselves into? Like, what would be the expectation of what they experience?
yeah, I do one-on-one because I truly believe that women at this stage of life, everyone's completely different. Everyone's
Mm-hmm.
going through different journeys of their hormonal shifts. Everyone's lifestyle is different. Everyone's eating habits, everyone's fitness level is different. This is not where you can do like a fitness app anymore and just give the exact same workout to everyone or the
Right.
same eating plan to everyone, or it doesn't work that way. And women at this stage of life truly need support and accountability. That's why we have a really good community inside the program where everyone is sharing their wins and struggles, and
Yeah.
because everyone's going through the same shift. So it is a very, very, I love my clients.
I
So
love
we're a
that.
very good little group.
So let's say someone's maybe not quite ready to jump into the program yet. What would be, so take each of your three pillars and throw a nugget to somebody. So if someone's listening and they're like, all right, there's a lifestyle thing. If you're like, hey, try this, what would be, if there's a listener and they're going to try to do it on their own, what would be one small shift that you might recommend in the lifestyle space?
I would say, man, focus on sleep.
Okay.
Improve your sleep quality. It's
Okay.
I like this program. We talk a lot about sleep because almost, I would say, 99% of the clients who come through the program have problems with sleep.
And
So
tell me more.
we
Is it
focus.
that are they staring at screens until 2 minutes before bed, or are they going to bed too late and getting up too early? Like, what are the common shifts that you're seeing when you're hacking sleep for your clients?
The common sleep issue that we have is they have not a lot of them don't have trouble falling asleep because they're tired
Mm-hmm.
from a very long day,
Yep.
but they often wake up in the middle of the night and have a harder time falling asleep, and that
Mm,
really interrupts the sleep quality.
for sure.
So, and I truly believe that what we do inside the program really improves all aspects of your life. With a lot of them, and a lot of them are already working out, right? They
Right.
just need to have the right kind of workouts. So with the right kind of workouts, with the right kind of food, and I totally believe that food is so crucial
Mm-hmm.
to really reset the inside, the inflammation, everything, because
Right.
our liver is so taxing at this stage of life from all these physical stress, emotional stress, all of the chemicals, all the processed things that we
Yeah.
have absorbed for the last 50 years, you and me
Exactly.
probably, without even knowing that they were bad for
Mm-hmm.
us, right? Because back
Mm-hmm.
then, I mean, no one talks about it. So,
Right. And people don't really grasp. I mean, and I still, because I mean, I've been in this space for 25 years. I still tell people we still know very little about the body. But I have called the liver the most overworked, underpaid organ in the whole body. And if we think
you are
about it, right,
correct.
your liver, listeners, sits under the right side of your rib cage, and there's no hole there, but it's one of your main drainage organs. So the liver dumps into the gut. So if the gut is off, the liver cannot be as efficient as it needs to be. And for
Mm.
the listeners, here's what the liver does. Ladies, it converts 60% of your thyroid hormone from inactive to active. It has a huge role in your digestive system. It shuttles estrogen and progesterone at ovulation and menstruation. And by the way, every 3 to 6 minutes, every drop of blood in your body goes through your liver from a detoxification standpoint. So, it's got a lot going on. And
It does.
so I've done some training in traditional Chinese medicine, and they will talk about like that 2 to 4 a.m. is kind of the liver's active time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also traditional Chinese medicine talks about emotions associated, and the liver gallbladder would be like anger, resentment. So there could be
Ah,
some
I did not know.
curiosity around some of those aspects. So okay, so lifestyle, get sleep figured out.
Oh my
Like
God. Yes.
if you're gonna
You've got to nail in your sleep, man. Otherwise, you nothing works.
well, it's where you restore, right? It's where your body is designed to restore, and it's why we don't want to have a bunch of food in our stomach, because if we put a bunch of food in our stomach, then our blood is shunted to our GI tract as opposed to going to our brain and clearing out our lymphatic system. So Okay, now when it comes to nutrition, if someone's listening and they're like, all right, Tatch, throw me a bone. What is, if I could shift, let me ask this. What is one thing that someone could add more of? And then secondly, what is one thing that they could do less of nutritionally? What would be your suggestions there?
I would say to add more of, since my program also focuses quite a lot with fat loss, it's protein. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people say, "Oh, I'm eating protein, but I don't see any." So protein is one piece of puzzle, right? But if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about nutrition, if something that they could add more, I would say add more protein. And a lot of
Okay.
women think that they're eating enough protein, but they don't.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault, right? Because we used to be able to just eat whatever
Mm-hmm.
and just nothing happens. And all of a sudden, you want to eat the same. You haven't really changed your lifestyle. You haven't even really changed your eating habits. And all of a sudden, your body is off.
Right.
So that is one thing. And one thing that I would say to eat less of, I would say to be mindful of grains. I think that they could
Mm-hmm.
cause inflammation on some people. And I think that because I truly believe that, and I'm not saying that they're bad for you, but I'm just saying that when the hormones shift, we become
Mm-hmm.
sensitive with a lot of things.
100%.
The food that we used to be able to tolerate, and now it makes us bloated. It makes us look like we're
Well,
5 months pregnant.
people that are our age have walked through a very interesting progression, respectfully, of agriculture. So I actually grew up in wheat farming country of North Dakota. And my uncle is a wheat farmer. And when I was a little boy in the 70s and the 80s, they might have used some fertilizer, but they really didn't use many chemicals. And
Mm,
last fall, when my uncle combined his wheat, 10 days before he combined it, he sprayed the whole thing with Roundup. And
mm,
Roundup does two things to the wheat product. It dries it out because he gets paid more if the wheat is dry. And then Roundup kills all the green weeds in his field because green weeds are really hard on $2 million combines when they combine it. So the wheat is so different. I mean, respectfully, in the United States, the food quality and there's obviously a lot of legislation going on right now to try to make people aware of this. But like we grew up in the 70s and the 80s when these things weren't even used, right? And now we're into the 2020s, and the amount of chemicals and the amount of synthetics and the amount of genetic modification. So you're so kind when you say, well, I'm not, grains are kind of, I'm like, get them out. Like
mm.
they cause inflammation. But also I love your heart because you want women to discover what is personal for them, right? What you're not saying is everybody does this, and if they do this, they get well. But the heart is, hey, let's pull grains out for a bit. Let's see how you do. And they're like, oh
Exactly.
my gosh, my joints feel better. I don't have those sensitive steps out of bed. You're like, oh, cool. Good discovery. Good job. so, so I love that.
You
And then
know
when
my
it comes,
program already.
um, well, and the food is such a thing. I mean, and I think there's also a balance, right? Because there's a balance in life that says, like, for example, like at my house, we make really good food choices. But if I went to a friend's house for dinner, I'm not going to be like, hey, can you tell me how you sourced the meat for this meal? And can you tell me did you import that grain from Italy? Like, no, come on, man. So like what I tell people is control the variables where you can control the variables, and then don't let your thought of controlling variables rob you of joy and conversation and community.
Mm,
Right. So it's like,
well said.
and then, okay, so then movement. So if there's a listener and they're like, okay, like there's all these workout programs and there's CrossFit and walking and Pilates and yoga. Like if someone was to, again, let's go to more of one thing and less of one thing in the movement space. How would you speak to our listeners?
In the movement space, I would say more of strength training, meaning heavier. right? A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people might think that they're doing Pilates and because that's toning, so it's some kind of strength training. But we actually want to lift something really heavy
I love it.
because I'm sure you know, our bones is just going down the drain as we speak every day.
Right. Yeah.
And one thing that I would do less of is long workouts because our
Mm-hmm.
body, I don't want to say that it's bad. I think that there's an order of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, in the program, because a lot of people come in because they feel stuck. They feel like
Mm-hmm.
their body's not responding. So, and I truly believe that once they're unstuck, once their body is being nourished properly, once they you know, either by food or by movement, it's okay to do whatever activities that bring you joy. If you want to go
Bring you
do a
joy.
marathon, go do a marathon. But if you are at the stage of life where
Uh-huh.
your body is still not responding and you're trying to push harder, you're just adding more fuel to the fire.
I love it.
That's yeah.
Tatch, you're so, I mean, obviously this is your space and you've been in this space for a long time, but let me, to our listeners, let me explain some of the research on longevity. So the best research so far is grip strength. Like literally how strong is your grip? But if we think about it, if you've got a strong grip, you've got a strong arm. If you've got a strong arm, you've got a strong shoulder. If you've got a strong shoulder, you've got a strong back. If you've got a strong back, you've got a strong base. And then there's some newer research out that actually talks about like quadriceps size, like how muscular are your legs, and
Mm.
and again, different phenotypes, different genotypes will express different components. But the point of that, I love that you're talking about lift heavy things. I mean, that's the reality. That's what all the research says, is because you don't have to go in and do an hour and a half, because we also have to understand that energetically at like a cellular mitochondrial level, there's only so much gas in the tank. And so, and there's a misconception of women saying, well, I don't want to have like big muscles. And I'm like, you're not going to get big muscles. You're going to be lean. And then
Mm.
also be careful of the scale, right? Like when my wife was a 2-sport college athlete, and she was like lean, and she was like 5'6", like 140 pounds, but she was so dense muscularly, and she felt good. She had great metabolism. So you're not going to turn into a bodybuilder is my point of that. Now, what I do want to speak frankly to the chronic cardio people. Ladies listening, I have done this for 25 years. I have actually personally I did 4 half Ironmans and then a full Ironman. And Tatch, I'm a large human being. I am 6'3", 250 pounds. I'm an old football player, American football, because you're in France right now. So I looked great, but my hormonal panel was the worst I've ever seen in my life. So for example, I was 30 something when I did my Ironman. I had the testosterone of an 80-year-old guy.
Oh.
It was gone. And so we have to understand the things that you've talked about. By the way, testosterone is not just, like, ladies, it's not just libido. It's not just sex drive. I did a postdoctorate hormonal certification last year, and the word with testosterone is resilience. Do you feel resilient? And the 2 things that you've talked about, according to the research, strength training and sleep, are the 2 most effective tools to either build or crush testosterone. And what
Mm.
woman doesn't want to feel resilient? What man doesn't want to feel resilient? And what I also want to say is, so many women just say, oh, I just need to go take hormones. But the reality is, if there's not, the analogy that I give people is, I say, think of hormones as like a beautiful rose bush. And if you plant a beautiful rose bush into a weedy flower garden, it's not going to do so good. So like in your reverse me method, what is the flower garden like? What is your metabolic health? What is your sleep? What is your lifestyle? What is your nervous system? And I'm not saying that you even have to go and do hormones, because the body wants to be able to create these things on its own. So I love this. Very cool. So you have had a chance to, so like logistically, because I assume you do this all online, you get a chance to work with women around the world.
I do. Yeah,
Very
it's
fun.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
love that. I love that. Um, let's see here. So I'm trying to think if I have any other like off the flash questions. So, how long, if a woman is like expectations, right? So let's say a woman is like, hey, I'm going to do my very best. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to follow what you are teaching me to do. What are some of the first things that they're responding back to you that they're noticing?
um, I think the first thing in the program, like I said, that there's an order of things that we do in the program. There are
Mm-hmm.
different protocols for different phase. And the first thing we do is we focus on resetting you from the inside, meaning sleep, improving the lifestyle,
Yeah,
um, and we really want to dial in on the nutrition first and foremost
good.
before we add more workouts in, right?
Right.
So in the program, the workout starts small and then it ramps up because we do want you to build strength over time with progressive techniques. But
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, we want to really try to fix what's stuck, right? And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, I think a lot of people would say less bloated, less inflamed, and a lot of women who hold on to a lot of inflammation, the scale moves quite fast actually, the very first phase, because the water weight goes down really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Once we fix the inside, with the
Yeah,
sleep, with the right nutrition, it's magic really. And
I
yeah,
love it.
so
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. That is so good. Well, Tatch, this is a fun conversation. I'm excited to expose our listeners to you. How do people find out about the Reverse Me method?
So my Instagram is called Tatch. So my name, Tatch Fit at 50. So I'm there every day. Come say
Very cool.
hello, come
And we'll,
follow for
yeah,
tips
we'll
and
put a
advice.
link in the bio as well. And then, are you currently is there open spots for people inside of your Reverse Me method, or are you on a waiting list, or what's your current standard there?
No, definitely. We still have a few spots left for March. So I don't take on a lot of clients each month because it is personalized and it does take a lot of time and energy to
Yeah,
make sure that everyone gets set up properly and we know how to support them properly during the program. So yeah. But yeah, DM me if you have any questions and want to learn more about how my program works. And would love to help every single woman out there because I was there. So I
you
know
were there
how,
yourself.
yeah.
All
So
right,
yeah.
you guys. Well, listeners, what an awesome opportunity and conversation today. Again, there'll be all the links in the show notes, and stay tuned for more episodes of The Dr. Greg Show.